Alright, so far we were actually printing this payment details inside this browser console, right? But in this one we are actually going to send this data to the backend so that we can store them inside our payment model. Okay, so first of all we let's go to this code. Okay, so this is the payments.html. Okay, so here first of all we don't need this alert. Okay, we don't need this alert, and I'll just delete it. So here we actually need to create one new function to send this data to our views. Okay, so let me say function, let's say send data. Okay, this is send. Okay, send data. So for sending this data to our backend, we are actually going to use a JavaScript inbuilt function called fetch. So this fetch function allows us to handle the requests and response. Okay, so in this one we are actually going to handle this response from the PayPal, right? So that's why we are going to use this fetch function. Okay, so we should just say fetch. Okay, so this fetch function actually takes URL. Okay, so like this, it is https google.com, something like this. Okay, and if we have more data we can just say like this. Okay, so let me show you the syntax of this fetch function. Okay, let me see. You can see here, if you write fetch function in JavaScript, you will see this result here. This is from developer.mozilla.org. so you open this, and now you can see the fetch API provides a JavaScript interface in interface for accessing and manipulating parts of the HTTP pipeline, okay, such as requests and responses. Okay, so the basic syntax of this fetch function is like this. Okay, so here you can see this is the fetch function starts, and this in this it is taking the URL. Okay, and dot then a response.json and dot then data. Then you can if you want to do any other manipulation, you can do this here. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy this whole code and put it here. Okay, so this is actually the syntax, and we can of course modify this code as per our need. Okay, so in here we should actually give the path to where our data should go. Okay, so in this case we should actually send the data to this payments view, right? So what I'll do, I'll just go to this here. So I'll say so first of all I'll make one of variable URL is equal to I'll say URL space payments. Okay, so this payments, this URL will be saved inside this URL variable, and now we can actually paste it here. Now this fetch function has the URL. Now we need to send the data, right? So we have some data to send this to this URL, so that I'll just open this flower bracket and put this enter. So we should send the data. So when it comes to the sending the data, we should actually look into the method, request method, right? So in this case we are actually going to use method is equal to post. Okay, we actually need to use post, and we also need to send the header. Okay, so this is the HTTP header. So like this, you open another flower bracket. Inside this we should actually use a content type application /JSON, and we also need to send the CSRF token, right? Because we are actually sending the data with this post request, and as you know, while using post request we should always send the CSRF token, otherwise this will give you error. Okay, so here we will say X CSRF token. Okay, now we don't have the token, right? So we don't have this CSRF token. So we should actually generate this CSRF token manually. Okay, so when I said manually, we don't have to write the code one by one, but you can see in here I can say generate a CSRF token in JavaScript. Okay, so now we got this result. So in the first one you see docs.djangoproject.com. so here you will get the code. So I'll just scroll down, and I think this is the one. Okay, so this is the one. I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll just copy this and paste it inside our code. Okay, when we open this script, I'll paste it here. All right, so in this one I'll make here I'll say you can also use const. Okay, but I'll use where and CSRF token get cookie. All right, so now we have the CSRF token, and I can just copy this variable and send it here. Okay, so inside the header this is all, and after that we need to send the body. Okay, so inside this body we are actually going to send all the details about the payments. Okay, so here we'll say body and colon. Now let's say JSON dot stringify. Okay, stringify. You know what, you don't need to remember this. So if you want to see this, you can just head back to here inside this fetch function. Just scroll down, and there is everything. Okay, so you can see fetch. Okay, so it is taking the URL, and it is also taking the method post, and it is also taking the header, right? And you can see body json.stringify and data. Okay, so like this it works. Okay, inside this also the same thing. You don't need to remember all these codes. Okay, you just need to know from where exactly you can get it. All right, so inside this JSON we need to send the data. Okay, so we'll send the raw data. So we have order ID. We need to just send the order ID. Okay, but we don't have the order ID, right? What we'll do, we'll actually make another variable called order ID, and that is equal to order ID. Let's say order ID, I think this is the order number, right? If I say order dot order number, I should get it. Okay, so this will print the order ID, and also we need to say the okay, let's pass user order ID now, and we also need to say the transaction ID. This is actually, this transaction ID is actually inside this where is this? Okay, here it is. See, this is from this we are going to take. Okay, so it is actually the details, and inside the details we are accessing this ID. Okay, so this ID you can see. All right, so what we'll do, we'll say details dot ID. Okay, we got the ID now, transaction ID, and we also need to say transaction, maybe we can say payment method colon payment method. Okay, so I wrote it like this because we need to create one. You can either pass PayPal like this, but I don't want to do that. Okay, I'll just say the variable, and here I will add another variable. Variable is payment method. In this one we are actually going to handle only one payment gateway, right? So that's why I'll just say inside this I'll put the PayPal string. Okay, so this will be like this. After that we will just say status. Okay, now you can see where is this status. So inside this details we have ID also. Inside this details we have the status also, right? Status is completed, right? So that's why we are just going to say details details dot status. Okay, so once this is done, we will comment these two lines for now. Okay, we will use them later. So now let's go back to the payment URL. So in this, when we get the response, we need to handle it from here also, right? So that's why we will say body is equal to JSON dot loads. We'll say request dot body. So and then we can print this body here. Okay, print body, and we should actually bring the import this JSON, and I think this is all. Okay, so when we get this data here, so then everything will be easy. Okay, because once we have all this data from the PayPal, then we can just go ahead and save them, and whatever we want to do we can do that. Okay, and I think we can now test it out. So before that we'll just make sure everything is proper. Okay, first of all I'll start from here. So yeah, we have this get cookie function. We got it from the Django documentation, and variable amount, and we are getting the grand total. Okay, this should actually be wrapped inside the quotation, because this is actually the Django tag, right? So it won't work inside the JavaScript. Okay, so that's why we have to make it string so that it will work. Okay, so here also, and we don't need to do anything to this get cookie function. Okay, because that is generated by the JavaScript itself. Okay, so now this order ID also wrap it inside this, and I think everything else is fine. Okay, so this is create order. We did not touch anything here except this amount, and on approve we should what we did, this is okay, and we send data. We created a send data. Okay, we actually need to call this send data, and if you don't call this send data function, then it will not work. You will get error. Okay, and this is fetch and method is post. Okay, so method is not equal to, it is colon. Okay, and one more issue, this is headers. Okay, not header, and maybe we have to check the spellings. Okay, we need to put a comma here, and method headers. Okay, now we can go ahead and check it. Let me refresh the page. So I'll click on this pay now, I mean the PayPal button. Okay, now click on this pay now. So we should, of course, we got this response, but let's see in the console what we are getting. Yes, we got the order ID, we got the transaction ID and payment method, and this status. Okay, this thing we got because we are printing this one here, right? We are printing this body. Got it. So that's the reason we are getting this one. Okay, so now we have all the transaction details here. So now we can actually go and store all the details inside the payment model. Okay, so first of all let's say store transaction details inside payment model. Okay, let's say payment is equal to payment model, and we are using payment model. That means we need to we need to import it, right? Payment, and inside here we are going to say user user is equal to request dot user. Okay, because once again we'll check the model. Here it is. we have this user and we have the payment ID, right? So this payment ID is nothing but the transaction ID. Okay, so now we will say payment ID is equal to this trans ID. Okay, so this trans ID is sorry this trans ID is inside the body, right? So that's why we need to say body and trans ID. Okay, and next what we need the payment method. So the payment method is equal to, again, inside the body it is a payment method. Okay, so if you want to make sure payment method, payment underscore method, right? And what else we need to store? We need to store the amount paid and the status. Okay, so we'll say amount paid is equal to body. Okay, though, so this is not inside the body. It should be we should get this from the order. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just make a simple query. I'll say order is equal to order dot objects dot get user is equal to user is equal to request dot user, and is ordered is equal to false. Okay, and comma order ID, order number is equal to the number which is inside the body. Okay, order ID. So that's why. And next we actually need to say amount paid is equal to order dot total. Okay, inside the order model we have something called total, right? So that's why we are going to say total, order dot total, and status is equal to body of status. Okay, so now this is done, and at last we will say the payment dot save, so that this payment gets recorded inside the database. Okay, and along with the saving the payments, we should also say order dot payment is equal to payment. Okay, because we need to actually update the order model also, because if you see here inside the order model, where is it? Here, yeah, in this order model we have the payment field, right? This is actually the foreign key of payment model, so that's why we need to say order dot payment equal to payment. Okay, so this payment, okay, so this is the payment object, right? So we'll say order dot payment equal payment. Okay, so again order dot is ordered is equal to true now, because see, when we are done with the payments, then of course we need to set this is ordered status to true, right? So that means this product is, or this order is successful. And let's say order dot save. All right, so I think okay, so later we can actually move the cart items to the product order products table, but for now let's check this one. Okay, so let's try the payment, and let's see if it is recorded inside the database. Now I'll say PayPal. Alright, post internal server error. Something is wrong. Okay, let's see. Attribute order object has no attribute total All right, this is actually user. There is nothing. This is actually order total. Okay, so that's my bad. I should actually put this order total here. Okay, so that's my problem. And now I'll refresh. Okay, now click this pay now. Now hopefully we get the proper response. Yeah, we got the response, and no error at all. And now let's check this admin panel. I'll go to admin, and inside the payments, yes, we got one payment, right? So now you can see a user is recorded, payment ID is recorded, payment method, and amount paid. This much is the amount, and this is the status. All right, and this order also. So this should actually, now you can see this is the is order status is equal to, is order status is true now. Anyways, so this is now done. So the next thing is actually, when we are done with the successful payment, of course we need to clear all these cart items, right? We'll do that in the next one. Okay, thank you.